What's up, aspiring developer? Just wanted to show you this tool that I've been working on. Spent some time on Saturday building this and an hour today just kind of polishing it up a little bit. There's still a lot that I can do with it, but this is the NoCode Software Selector. And I built this because so many people have told me that finding the right tool for their problem was one of the hardest things that they had to do. And I thought, well, we can build a piece of software to solve that problem because there is a formula that you can use to approach this. And I actually have some training on that formula over here under this software design training. So if you want to learn how I approach choosing the right software for my problem, you can read a lot about that there. And essentially that'll walk you through building what's called a design document, which is here. I have a design document template that you can use to help you solve a lot of these problems. Mainly, or I should say the main one being, how do I choose which software to use? And this tool is definitely in its infancy, so I have this give feedback button for you to, just send me some information via SmartSuite, right? Because I know that there will be pieces that are missing, things that aren't necessarily here. I have a lot of plans for it, and I would love your feedback on where this should go. So just a quick tutorial on how this all works. So we've got our user account here, and if I change this, it'll update the estimated costs per month for each of these, just based on whether it's like a seat cost. I still haven't necessarily ironed out, like, let's say, requests. And so those will likely be separate costs, and I think in the long term we'll have a lot more information around these. You'll be able to click on it and it'll pop up or slide something over or have something on the right side. I don't necessarily expect this tool to be wholly usable on mobile. I do expect it to be more of a tool that you come to when you're at your desk. It'll work on mobile, but it'll definitely be more useful and powerful on desktop. So we can select the user count, and then I've broken software's no-code tools into 3 buckets. We have the data bucket, so the database. We have the interface bucket, or the view, or whatever you're interacting with on the screen. And then we have the backend or API bucket. And so there are just some qualifying questions. And again, I have a lot more that I'm going to be adding over time to these, but these are just the core ones that I tend to use consistently. And for each bucket, we can answer these questions, and it'll filter out the information or the tools that are below. So database tools, let's say, access control, how fine-tuned your permissions need to be on your data. If we say medium, we can already see it eliminated 3 of the 5 tools that were there. So if we go look at this, we've got Supabase, SmartSuite, BuildShip, Zapier. All of them can store data, but not all of them have fine access control on that data. So if we say that we want to go to medium, now we have Supabase and Bubble, and I'm certain that there are lots of others. I think Firebase, I need to add that in here, but we can also go to high, and now we're just sitting at the Supabase tier. So if the user, let's say if the user requires a login, right, so we need to authenticate individuals, then that's just Supabase and Bubble, right? If we want to store files, then we eliminate, I didn't even see Zapier. Zapier can't store files, so we can just start to filter out things based on these questions. Right, so let's click on high, so we just have Supabase there. Now interface, do we need to pay to use? So will we charge users for our app via tokens or subscription? If the answer is yes, then we've got Flutterflow, Glide, Bubble. If the answer is no, then we have a lot more options, right? Now, next up is deployment. Where do you want to deploy your app? Is it purely web? Do we want to deploy it on iOS and Android? Do you want it on desktop? If so, Flutterflow is your best bet. Do you only care about iOS and Android and you don't care about web? Flutterflow and Glide will both work, right? Next up is interface customizability. How far do you need to go with the interface? And if you need to go medium, I've got Flutterflow, Glide, and Bubble. If you want to go high, right now I've got Flutterflow and Bubble. Glide might be there. I'm 100% sure. I've never used Glide, and this is why I want feedback. All right. And then the last thing is computation complexity. We've got lots of backend tools here, but if I just click on medium, for example, we can start to filter things down. And if you got really high computation complexity, but still no code tool, BuildShip has by far been the best. I know there's lots of others like Zeno, etc., that also still need to be added. So like I said, we're still building that tool. But I think as it is right now, it's still very useful for people who are just getting started, and you can click around to see, what requirements you might have in your app, and then how those reflect or impact the softwares that you can choose. So again, if you have any feedback, please don't hesitate to click this beautiful button, send it over to me. If you'd like to learn my thought process behind choosing software, you can click on this. It's just a Google Doc, and you can learn how I brought it all together. And if you want to create your own design document, which I highly recommend for any piece of software you're going to be putting together. In fact, I have one for this tool specifically that I might add up here just as an example for you. I think I actually linked to an example to it inside of the software design training, but you have that template for you here, and you can create a copy of that. So I've tried to put everything together to support you in building the software of your dreams and getting it started. Let me know what you think.